it's your girl, Just Nurse Jen, back at it again. So, I actually just recorded a whole vlog, and I have a new mic, and that video sounded like crap. So, I guess lesson learned, that mic's no good. That one's not going in on my product video that's coming up. I thought I would share with you a couple of things today. I know some people are really nervous about me sharing bits of my life for fear that bullies will result from it and use my information that I share against me, and that people will receive my messages with ill will and try to attack me and my career, which, just as I'll do this disclaimer, I know my limits. I have been going through health challenges and struggles since I was 12 years old. I got through nursing school having 3 major substantial surgeries that after the first one, I should have been not allowed to be allowed to continue with nursing school, let alone 3 major surgeries. But I persevered through them. I knew what my limits were, just like I know what my limits are with my job. I will never, ever do anything to ever intentionally cause harm to somebody else, especially when my career, that's the oath that you take as a nurse. Speaking of which, yay! I'm at my 10-year mark for being an RN now. Woohoo! I'll probably post my my pinning ceremony on my channel on Facebook and maybe on Instagram from what my sister did regarding my pinning ceremony. It was pretty cool, pretty spectacular, and it's a great memory to have. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. So hard to believe. Back on the subject of fear for my career and bullying and retaliation, because it's so easy to hide behind a computer screen and leave negative comments or attack somebody negatively. That, just like with what I'm doing right now, I have 2 different devices that are hands-free set up on my rear view mirror. So every time I'm looking towards the camera, I'm actually looking in the rear view mirror. You can't see that because I have to wear glasses even when it's raining outside like it is now. I have my hands on the wheels. I've got cords connected, so everything is legitimately hands-free. The only thing I have to do is talk, which I would be listening to books on tape if I wasn't talking. So, safety always first. It's not worth texting and driving. It's not worth talking on the phone and driving, unless it's going to be a hands-free thing and you legitimately don't need to be looking at the person on the other side of the screen. If you guys do FaceTime or whatever Android's version of FaceTime is, you have to be safe. It's not fair to the other person on the other side of the road unsuspectingly, who oftentimes gets hit from drunk drivers or people who are texting and driving. Not worth it. It's just really not worth it. So I will always be safe. But I thought I would share today's video because I'm having such horrible acid reflux today. I tried to eat something and now it's just like, it's an angry little demon in my esophagus. Actually, it's the base of my the base of my esophagus at the beginning of my stomach, and it hurts. Folks think, maybe not funny, but they do think it's funny that I don't really eat. People at work don't see me eat that often. Even at home, I don't eat that often. Maybe 1 meal a day, maybe. Occasionally more than that, but it's very rare. And it's all related to the fact that I have esophageal and stomach issues. And I was eating a lot when I was on prednisone, but it was making the gastrointestinal problems that I was having quite a bit worse. So it was this battle of prednisone making you feel like you have to eat all the time versus eating all the time and then you regret it because you're vomiting in your sleep. But it's really gross, just an FYI. It's disgusting to vomit in your sleep and wake up gagging on your own food that you were trying to digest. It is disgusting, and there's nothing you can do. There's nothing anybody can do. You have to literally try and cough it up and spit it out. Like, there's absolutely nothing you can do. And it is incredibly dangerous to vomit in your sleep. People who are older in the geriatric population, when they get aspiration pneumonia, it can be a death sentence, because your body it's not meant to have stomach contents in your lungs. Your lungs are sterile. Your lungs are very sterile. So when you get an infection like bronchitis or pneumonia, you sometimes will need antibiotics because, again, they're infected from something, and then the sputum and bacteria and crap that's brewing in there, you cough up this nasty looking spit wad, a loogie that is very, it can be very, any color of the rainbow, really. You know what I mean. The green, the yellow, the red tinge, the nasty, gross brown stuff. But anyway, that's stuff that's not meant to be in your lungs, obviously. So if you're vomiting very acidic stomach contents up, and then it's food nonetheless, and you vomit it into your lungs aren't able to break that down and digest it and get rid of it the same way your stomach can. And so it very often can be a death sentence. I've gone through so many different tests along the years. I take and live on Prilosec, Zantac. I just had to take Pepto-Bismol and my favorite little Tums, calcium carbonate, because the burning is so bad. It's like, that was not worth eating. I understand why I don't eat. And I know that as a result of my esophageal kind of stuff, that now I'm actually drinking things through my straw, and it comes up and into my nose, which is gross, even worse. Well, not worse than throwing up and inhaling it into your lungs. That's pretty gross if you ask me. But anyway, it is pretty gnarly to have any fluid be where it's not supposed to be. So needless to say, I've gone through quite a few tests. I went through, like, long story short, 6 months ago I was supposed to do 2 different types of swallow evals. One's called the manometry test, and one was a pH study. My gag reflex is so strong that I kept puking the tube back up. Even with nothing in my stomach, my gag reflex was so strong that we'd get the tube down into my stomach and I would vomit so hard that liters of fluid, like from my stomach and my small bowel, were coming up. I think it was like 2 liters total of fluid came out of my stomach, and the tube kept shooting out. The poor girl got nailed one time with that. So we tried both nostrils. It didn't work. We ended up doing an EGD study. I had acid damage to my esophagus, so they started me on higher doses of the meds. We ended up sending me in October for what's called a Bravo test. They insert a little bead. They attach it. They suction part of your esophagus into this little beaded device, and then you wear something around your neck, and every time you eat, every time you sleep, every time you do anything, you're pushing buttons when you have pain, and you wear that thing for 2 days. And so you can't be further than 3 feet away from it. So taking a shower is very quick during that day. and that little bead thing is supposed to come out and just like literally pass through your body. It comes off within about 3 to 5 days. I was lucky and it stayed connected for 9 days, and you don't want to eat with that thing in. It's uncomfortable. Eating food is uncomfortable, but we finally got the results. Needless to say, it took 6 months of asking and asking and asking, where are my results? My primary gastroenterologist didn't even get the results back. So we all kind of thought, well, maybe the results were normal, which was disheartening in some ways, because I'm like, something's not right. Something's really not right in my stomach. I can't lay lower than 85 degrees. Otherwise, the further I lay back, I can't lay on my side. I vomit and vomit and vomit, and then you risk infection again and again and again. So needless to say, we got the results back about a month and a half ago. They weren't good. It's pretty sad, because usually the whole thing in the medical field is no news is good news. So if you don't hear anything back, then usually it means everything's okay. But even with this test, even if there's no bad news, then you really have to make sure that you are still getting your results, because it was a different type of a test. You're supposed to be able to see the results of 72 hours. I think mine was a 72-hour test actually now. Some people needed it for 48 hours. So I was waiting for this 3 days worth of information to come back, and when I did get it, my gastroenterologist nurse called, was so apologetic. She was tearing up on the phone. She felt horrible, angry with the clinic that we went through, that they referred me to, which I'm not going to name because I don't know what happened. Maybe with the new year, everything just got a little crazy, but the results were really bad, really bad. So now we have to do another EGD, which is an esophagogastroduodenal study. Basically, they take a tube, go through your mouth, go down through your esophagus, into your stomach, and go through parts of your small bowel. Excuse me, my words don't always sound clear when I speak. So we're gonna have to do that test again to make sure that the damage hasn't returned or that it's not worse, because there's always that risk that anything with crazy pH adjustments. So the pH of our stomach is incredibly acidotic. The pH in our small bowel starts to become more alkalotic as the body sends bicarbonate into your body, and like your gallbladder shooting out the emulsifier, the fat emulsifier, bile, shooting that into your bowel. It's a bicarbonate to try and reduce the acidity of the food content, so that way as it continues to go through your body and your body is trying to absorb the nutrients, it's not going to burn the other parts of your bowel that are very sensitive to adjustments in pH. So acid and alkalotic or bicarbonate, those are the two ends of the spectrum. Both of them can cause quite severe burns. They'll look equal to some degree when you have a scope test done. The damage from the burns can actually cause things like cancer, which is a dreaded word. But needless to say, we're gonna do that test again to make sure next week that everything looks okay. They're gonna put the tube down my throat while I'm still asleep, and then they'll wake me up to do the swallow bits, which will just be long enough, hopefully, to take a couple bites and drinks of liquid and food, and then we'll be able to take that sucker out. I'm hoping and praying that my gag reflex will behave itself. I need it to behave itself. But once we have the results of that, I'll be able to go and get my next consultation, which will be at a different clinic that does this specialty procedure called the LINX procedure. I think that right now is probably going to be the better choice, because there is something called a well, right now I have a spinal cord stimulator. So I have stimulator leads next to and near my spinal cord. And then I have a battery. And there is consideration of doing that type of a thing. They have a special stimulator for your stomach, so your stomach will start emptying better, because my stomach will hold on for food for 2 or 3 days, which usually after 2 hours your stomach should be empty and clear and not have any more food residue left in it. Mine will still have quite a bit of food residue 2 days after not eating or drinking anything. So they've considered putting those leads into my stomach, but unfortunately the battery cannot, where it's going to have to be placed is going to be directly in front of the battery for my spinal cord stimulator, and you can't do that. And so I'm a very complicated surgical case. I have blood pretty bad the last 3 surgeries I've had. I have another condition that, yay for me, doesn't work the way it's supposed to typically work. Normally I'm supposed to be a clotter, but I'm a bleeder. So I always have bruises all over the place. But we're thinking that the LINX procedure will be a better procedure for me. They'll basically, it's a pretty small invasive, mildly invasive surgery. And they put this magnetic set of links around your around your esophagus, and it will act as your new esophageal sphincter, making sure that food will go down but will not come back up. So hopefully I'll be able to lay down, I'll sleep right, I won't have acid reflux damaging my esophagus, and I also will be able to back off or go completely off these other medications that really do interact badly with my chemotherapy. So you want to protect my other organs, because obviously chemo is already bad as it is, and I'm being monitored all the time for that. But the interactions between these proton pump inhibitors like Zantac, Protonix, Pantoprazole, Omeprazole, Prilosec, that family, ranitidine, that family of meds are called proton pump inhibitors, and they basically reduce the amount of acid that's kicked out in your stomach. And so I'm on a lot of them right now, and the interactions can be very dangerous to my other organs. Not to any way that I function, but to my organs. So we want to get through this, past this, move on to the next challenge. So fingers crossed, everything will go great next week. I've got good hopes, and I'll see how far I can take you guys with me for that procedure. Unfortunately, I know my mom gags with surgical procedures. I don't think she'll be willing to go in. She definitely will not ever be on camera. She is very, very, very shy. But if she ever were, and she's one that doesn't really like the thought of me doing these videos, so I know she wouldn't want to be a supporter contributing to my videos, but maybe I'll be able to get a little bit of it in the consultation type process, especially when I go for the LINX stuff. But I just want to let y'all know that this has been over 16 years of hardcore one diagnosis after the other after the other. It's been embarrassing at times working at a big city hospital and having my coworkers have to take care of me and everybody thinking that I'm just searching for pain meds. That never was the case. I just wanted to know what the heck was wrong with me and how could we fix it. Little did I know that was the beginning of a very long cascade of bad things that were gonna come. I have learned to be strong. I've learned you'll lose friends, you'll lose coworkers, you'll lose family members even, because your ability to do things is compromised with every new illness that you go through. And people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that you're not feeling good. Because any given day, if it's not the migraines, if it's not your eyes, if it's not your joints or my esophagus or whatever it is going on, it's gonna be something else. So you live with these chronic things get to go out. You don't get to see your friends like you want to. Just getting out of bed to make this 3-hour drive to get a doctor's appointment is hard enough. But I have an awesome support team with my medical doctors. I was just gonna say, if you can't find somebody that takes you seriously and realizes that you're not just looking for pain medication, it's not normal. It's not okay. It's not normal to have pain. Even though I've now been diagnosed with chronic illnesses and autoimmune conditions that do cause chronic pain, until you have those diagnoses, it's not normal. It's not normal. Don't let anybody tell you at any age or any stage of your life that it's normal to have pain. You keep looking for a doctor that's gonna take you seriously, and now that there's the internet, doctors can get rated on the internet. So you just look up the different providers that are available through your network and research them, the ones that are available before you sign up to go see them, to make sure that they kind of are on point with what you believe in also. But whatever you do, don't give up. There's days I want to, but I have awesome family and doctors that want me to keep fighting. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Because I believe that there's gonna be a day when I'm gonna have really good days, not just when I'm at work, but when I'm at home too. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Remember, love's always the only way. Even if it's just loving yourself one day at a time, 1 second at a time. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. And just know that there are people out there that are rooting for you that you don't even know. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.